So before you come to the UK, I want you to watch this video very well so that you have an informed decision. Don't just carry your bags and come to the UK. Oh, I got a visa, I got this one, and you don't know what you are coming in for. And when you come in, the first 1 to 2 years of your life, in fact, you feel like going back. It's not even just feel like. Some people, a lot of people went back, and a lot of people are going back. I know many people that have gone back in the last 1 to 2 years back to their home country because they couldn't cope. What they ordered is not what they got. So stay tuned and let's get right into it. The United Kingdom consists of 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, and the Northern Ireland. So this is what makes up the United Kingdom. So now a lot of people, when they hear about the United Kingdom, everything that comes to our mind, especially if we are coming from Africa, is London, because that's the capital city of England. So that's the one that a lot of people resonate with, which is very, very true. So when you're thinking about coming to the United Kingdom, you need to think about where you're going to stay, which really, really matters a lot. When I was coming to England 4 years ago, one of the first things that I thought about was that how am I going to cope with the cost of living? So I thought about where I was going to stay. I'll give you a trick. If you want to know how expensive a city is, go and check what the house rent is. So that's what I do. I go straight away, check how much the house rent is. I compare it with other cities. Then I'll be able to have a fair knowledge of, oh, this is how expensive this city is. Because believe me, what we spend mostly on is our house rent and the bills. So if you know what the house rent of the place is, you're likely to know how expensive the city is. So if you're coming to the United Kingdom this year, kindly check the house rent of where you're going to, and then you'll be able to know how expensive that place is. Now, straight into the video, I'll be telling you 3 cons and 3 pros of living in the United Kingdom, so you have an informed decision. So it will not be a case of what I ordered versus what I got, so that you know what you're coming into before you get into it. The first thing I'll talk about is free education. We all know that the United Kingdom, when you are in the United Kingdom, children have access to free education. So from the age of 4 or 5 years old up to 16 years old, they have access to free education, and it is compulsory within that age range. So there's not you don't have to worry about paying exorbitant fees for school fees for your children, and you get quality education for the children. Another thing to talk about, which is a pro, is the healthcare system. We know that we have the National Health Service, which is the NHS, which is a brilliant idea, to be honest. And yes, a lot of people have benefited from the NHS. So this is a very, very good one. You don't need to worry, because some people live in countries whereby they earn a lot of money, but when it comes to their health, they pay a lot of money. Nobody knows when the person is going to fall sick. So that's the reason why living in the United Kingdom is a plus, because you know that your health is covered. Finally, about the pros is the excellent transport system. Yes, the United Kingdom has a very good public transport system. I give it to them on this one. We have the buses, we have the trains, and all of that, which is very, very good. I have not really been to other countries around here, so I can't really compare, but I'm comparing it from my own country, where I'm coming from. So if this is what you're looking at, this is very, very good. Now, straight into the cons. The first on my list for the cons is childcare. For childcare, you need to pay particular attention to this, especially if you have got children who are less than 4 years or less than 5 years. Childcare is expensive. When I came to the UK 4 years ago, my son joined me 6 months after, and he was 2 years old. We were paying between 700 to 800 pounds every month on childcare, and he was only going 3 times a week. I know people who pay over 1,000, over 1,500 every month for childcare. So childcare is very, very expensive. So don't think that, oh, I'm just going to come, I'll bring all the children. No, don't say anybody didn't tell you. Childcare is expensive. So think and calculate it properly before you come or before you bring your children. That's why you find out that some people come first, settle down, and bring the children in later, which I strongly advise if you're not in a very good place financially. Another thing is that if you come into the country, I'm still under the childcare. If you come into the country and you have a spouse, a husband or a wife, please come with them if you are able to, because this will help you to manage childcare. What a lot of people do with childcare is that on the days when the husband is not working, the wife would be working. So when the husband is not working, the husband does the childcare. When the wife is not working, the wife does the childcare, and they just switch like that. So that's about childcare. Another con is on the issue of cost of living. Cost of living is not smiling anymore. I know this cuts across all over the world. I know a lot of people are going to say, yes, the cost of living is high everywhere in the world. But cost of living is not cheap in the United Kingdom. When I came to this country 4 years ago, with £50, I will buy enough food and grocery for myself to eat for the month. But now, I'm very sure that a single person would not spend less than £150 on feeding alone. Now, imagine how much you have to pay for accommodation. A three-bedroom where I live currently is around £1,100. Yes. Now, imagine if your salary is 2,000 or 2,500. You know, when we are back home, when we see, let's say you got a work to you got a job to come and stay in the UK, and then they tell you how much they're going to pay you, and you see that money, they write £24,000 a year. You calculate it to your home currency, you'll be like, now I am rich. My dear, you are not rich yet, because when you come, tax will take at least 0.2%. Is it 20%? Yeah, 20% of that money is gone already on tax. Now imagine, out of 25, let's say 500 is already gone. The remaining 2,000, you pay 1,001 on rent. You will pay council tax. You will pay energy. You will pay for broadband. You will pay for water. If you have a car, you do bills on car. You pay TV license. You pay lots of things. By the time you do all your bills, you probably will be left with 50 or £100. There's somebody back home who now message you to say, please, can you something is happening, can you help me? And you give the person maybe 10,000 naira. I'm talking in naira, what we spend in Nigeria. And the person will tell you, UK people and 10k sha. Anybody that tells me that thing, I'm going to block that person. How can you say such a thing? I mean, people work and work. It is hard. People have to work their back off to get that money. And then when they give you, you'll be like, UK people and 10k sha. Anyway, that's not story for today. So cost of living is not cheap. So bear that in mind. The way to help yourself is, if you're a single person, you obviously would want to you want to live in cities that are cheaper to live in, so that you can cut costs. If you're a married person, husband and wife would have to come together, put their resources together, and they would be able to make meaningful, good use of that income. In a situation whereby one person wants to keep their money and the other person doesn't want to contribute, there's going to be problem. That's on cost of living. Finally, I'm going to talk about the culture. And when I'm talking about the culture, I'm going to cut across work, I'm going to cut across family, home, and all of that. Now, the culture in the youth, the work culture, for instance, there's a bit of a subtle racism, because somebody would be smiling at you, making you feel like they love you, they like you, they're okay with you, but they go behind you and they do something else. And they say nasty things about you that can cost you your job. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have, lots of bad things have happened to people at work, because they felt like their so-called work friend is their friend, because that person is smiling and happy with them when they see them. Another thing is, sometimes you go and meet your manager for something, and the person will tell you no, because so policy says this. Another person will come and they would grant that person, because that person is probably, now, their own person. So there's a lot of subtle racism that goes on at work, which you have to be mindful of. If you're coming to the UK, you have to know how to deal with people at work. Otherwise, they will set a trap for you and they'll push you inside and you will not know. You have to be very, very careful. That's why a lot of people say no friends at work. I don't blame them. Another thing, when it comes to the home, the culture is different. I know that you will be able to imbibe your culture into your home, obviously, from wherever you're coming from, which I strongly advise. However, If you are I'm speaking from as a Nigerian now, our husbands back home, they are like we treat them as gods. You would hardly find a man doing grocery shopping, cooking, sweeping, changing diapers, and what have you. But here in the UK, it's different. That's not what operates in the UK. If you are in the UK, you are if you are coming to the UK and you are a husband, please watch this part. You need to drop that mentality down before you come in. Otherwise, you have problem. A lot of homes have been broken because of this kind of issues. So you have to sit down with your spouse and discuss this very well. Is this something we will be able to live with when we come to the United Kingdom? So the culture would be different. You will not expect to come back from work and sit down and cross your leg, and your wife would go to work as well, come back and be in the kitchen. You can you as the man, there's nothing wrong in you going to the kitchen once in a while, or depending on what operates in your home, to fix dinner for the family. If your daughter or your baby has put on her diapers, you as the man, you don't need to wait for the wife who went to work since morning to come and change that diaper. No, you're going to clean that diaper, you're going to sweep, sir, you are going to clean, sir, and it will not change anything because you will still be the head of your family. It won't demean or degrade you in any way. So these are little cultures that puts a lot of families into problems, because many people could not cope. They'll be like, how can I come and be the one doing this? Now I've talked to the men, because when I was talking to the men, the women were like, no, I've come for you to the women. Some women back home have the culture of my money is my money and his money is our money. Drop that mentality. If you are coming to the UK or even any abroad, drop that mentality. Your money is not your money. His money is not our money. Both of you's money is our money. The earlier both of you come together and put your resources together, the faster you can run in the UK, the faster you can do things in the UK. When you see a lot of people buying house in the UK, it's not because it's very, very easy to buy a house in the UK. It takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of unity, putting resources together. Not that one person will earn money and go and hide it, or one person will earn money and lie that I'm earning £500, whereas they are earning 1,005. No, people have to be transparent. Husband and wife would have to be transparent if you want to live together and if you want to let things move for you faster in the UK. And then I'm going to leave us with this last one. The first 12 months or the first 2 years let me say 1 to 2 years in the UK might be difficult. You will get to a point where you feel like, what did I come and do here? What exactly am I doing here? You get to a point where you'll be like, I want to go back home, please. Can you take me back home, please? But I kid you not, those times will come when you will cry. I mean, if this resonates with you, kindly leave in the comment section what your struggles were when you first came into the UK. You get to those points where you'll be low and you would ask yourself, especially if you were doing way, way, way better back home and you have to come here and start from the scratch. It could be very, very hard. But I want to encourage you, when you come, or if you are in that situation right now, keep at it. Don't give up. Keep pushing. You're gonna pull through. You're gonna push through to that point where you'll be like, yes, I have stabilized. I can now raise my head above water, and I can now breathe. And some people at this point, they never ever get to that point. When they get to that point of breaking, they run back home or they look for somewhere else to go to. I know a lot of people who have gone back home. A lot of people couldn't cope. They just couldn't cope for various reasons. And I don't blame anybody, because everybody's limit is different. But I just want to encourage you, if you're in that situation where you're like, I want to go back home, always remember why you came to the UK. If that why is still there, keep at it. If that why is no longer there, pack your bags and go. But otherwise, my final thing that I'm leaving you with is that if you still want to come to the UK, whichever routes you're coming into the UK with, am I advising you to come? Yes, please come by all means. But please watch this video and any other useful resources that you can get to equip yourself for what you're coming into, so that it will not be a situation of what I ordered versus what I got. If you've gained anything in this video, kindly give me a like, give me a thumbs up, and kindly subscribe to this channel. And I promise to always give you educative and informative content. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.